Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. So I'm new here, which means you're still new here. So if you could hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up, that'd be greatly appreciated. I did film one video previous to this one, so I'll have that link down below if you need to catch up, and that was my symptoms before the big fat positive. I feel like I filmed that such a long time ago, maybe somewhere between 4 to 6 weeks pregnant. I filmed that, and I am now 12 weeks pregnant, so it just feels like time has totally flown by. If you can't tell from the title of this video, I will be filming my weeks 4 through 12, so kind of going over symptoms and things that happened. I contemplated doing this in like a two-part video or breaking it up somehow, but I really haven't had that many symptoms. I've just had a lot of other issues, which I'll get into in the video. But yes, so if you want to watch weeks 4 through 12, then continue along. Alright, so week 4, and I'm going to be going over this on my phone like I have it like notes wrote down. Actually, let me talk about prior to week 4. So I took a pregnancy test on a Wednesday and a Saturday. Saturday was the day that I should have started my period. The Wednesday prior to that was when I took my first test and it came back negative. So I kind of was like, that was too soon technically, but my periods were irregular, so I didn't really know when I was going to start my periods. I thought we might as well start testing then. The period app I was using, which was, what was it? Let's see if I can find it really quickly. I don't think I've deleted it yet. The Period Tracker Light and Eve. They told me I should start either that Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. And I took a test on Saturday and it came back positive. And of course, immediately I told the father of the baby, my boyfriend, and I wasn't going to tell anyone else until I went to a doctor's appointment to confirm the pregnancy. But you'll figure out why I had to tell some people earlier than I wanted to. So right after finding out that Saturday, I researched doctor's offices because I hated my gynecologist, and I really wasn't okay with her being my OB either. So I researched local doctor's offices with good reputations, and I found one that I loved, and so I gave them a call that Monday and I scheduled my appointment. And at that time she asked me, well, how far along do you think you are? And I explained I knew exactly when I conceived, but I had no idea when I ovulated, so I couldn't really predict, due to my irregular period, how far along I was. So off of her calculations, she booked an appointment around 6 to 7 weeks, which was, at that moment when I called, I think I was around 4 weeks. So it was a 2-week wait in between when I found out I was pregnant and when I was going to go see the doctor to confirm the pregnancy. So then that's when I decided I was going to tell my parents. But the lady had to ask me about my insurance, and I told her I was insured under my dad's insurance because I'm not 26 yet, and in the state of South Carolina at least, this might be everywhere. I live in South Carolina though, and in the state of South Carolina you can be insured under your parents until the age of 26. So she told me that after she looked into my dad's insurance, my dad's insurance did not cover dependents maternity care. So she told me I'd be paying either out of pocket or I would need to try to get like government assisted insurance, so Medicaid in South Carolina. That might be everywhere too. I'm kind of dumb when it comes to insurance, or I needed to try to figure out something. So we went over the cost if I paid privately, which was scary. And then she also told me that if I did decide to get Medicaid, that the doctor's office at this time was not accepting Medicaid patients. I went ahead and called Medicaid anyway, and I actually didn't qualify for Medicaid at that time because I am employed. I have an amazing job, and so I didn't qualify. So that kind of was out of the question. And my work also offers insurance, but I did not. I declined the insurance from the beginning because I was insured under my father, and it wasn't open enrollment yet. So I decided at that moment, the Monday I decided to book my appointment, I was also going to tell my parents I was pregnant. So I had only known myself for 2 days, and I really wasn't even confirmed yet, but I felt like I needed to because I was clueless on all things insurance, and I really needed my dad to talk to his insurance to make sure his insurance wouldn't cover anything. So I went to tell my parents that Monday night. I was super awkward. My mom walked in first to the house because I got there before they had gotten off work, and she was like, oh goodness, what are you doing? Why do you have that face on? And I just kind of like, take a guess. And she actually guessed it and then was super awkward about it. And we decided we were going to order pizza that night for dinner. So the pizza place is like it's a carry out type thing. And so I went with her to get the pizza, and on the way there we like rehearsed how I was going to tell my dad, and told him, and he kind of just like, well, I told him while we were sitting there eating dinner, and he just kind of finished his meal and walked upstairs and didn't really say anything. And then I was like, but I told y'all because I need to go over insurance. And they kind of just said, how about you talk to your boss and see if you can get insurance through your work. So I emailed my boss the next day, and I didn't tell her that I was pregnant, but I kind of just told her that things were going on with my dad's insurance and I needed to find a way to be insured. And luckily, I was so lucky, she ended up calling like our HR department, and they allowed me to get insurance, and it was effective March 1st. So it wasn't effective for my first appointment. So my first appointment was February 13th. So the insurance through my work wouldn't be effective at that point, but at least at my doctor, the confirmation appointment is labeled a gynecologist appointment, and my dad's insurance to cover that. So that was kind of the first week I knew I was pregnant drama. Symptom-wise, let me pull my phone back up so we can go over symptoms. Symptom-wise, let's see, I was super tired, like could not move tired. After work, I would come home and like literally had people do things for me. Like my boyfriend had to cook dinner or bring dinner home. Like literally did not leave the bed after I got off work. I was bloated, like I couldn't even buckle my pants already. And I was like, I don't have a baby bump, but I can't buckle my pants. I started to break out a lot, like, let me see if I can get close. If you can see, like, well, it's not focusing, like, all around here. It's been that way since week 4. Also, I had a loss of appetite, like, I did not want to eat anything. Like, I just wanted to come home and sleep. But the issue is if I didn't eat anything, that's when I got nauseous. I have still to this day not ever thrown up or really like felt the need to go throw up, but I would get super nauseous if I didn't eat anything. So I'd like have to force myself to eat, but nothing sounded good. I was freezing cold, which is like opposite for me. Usually I'm like always the hot person, throwing off covers, never wearing a jacket, always barefoot, but I was freezing cold. And I had low circulation to the point that my hands would like turn purple, and it kind of scared me a little bit. And then the last one was that I had pain only on one side right above like my hip bone, and I swore I had an ectopic pregnancy. Like I swore. I was like, oh no, that's like why am I already having pain? And like every time I'd research it, it'd say round ligament pain. I'm like, there's no way I have that already. I'm 4 weeks pregnant. So week 5, I don't really think anything really went on issue-wise. Like I had already figured out insurance. I had told my parents, got over that kind of big hump. But like I did technically go to the doctor week 5. It would have been my last day of my 5th week of pregnancy. But at that moment, they actually thought I was 6 weeks pregnant. So it's confusing when calculating. But so my symptoms week 5 were that my teeth got super sensitive, like to the point where I actually scheduled an endodontist appointment because I thought I needed a root canal. And when I went, he told me that it was probably pregnancy, and also that I have kind of sinus issues, and my sinus, like, I don't know what that would be, but like whatever, my sinuses went under the roots of my teeth. So like cold, hot, and like crunchy kind of bothered my teeth, which that's still an issue now. So that's why I think it's pregnancy and not tooth related, because the endodontist cleared me. He's like, no, there's nothing, and no infection, no dead roots of your teeth. You do not need a root canal. So that was good. Let's see what else. I was still super bloated to the point my jeans wouldn't button. And let's see, I think that's it. But like I said, I went to the doctor that week, and I was technically 5 weeks pregnant and 5 weeks, 6 days pregnant. And at that appointment, so I walk in, and the first thing they did was weigh me, of course. And I'm super tiny. I'm 4'11", and I've never been over 100 pounds except freshman year of college. I gained that freshman 15, I feel like. But so my pre-pregnancy weight, I'm thinking, is like 98, 99, which is very normal for me. And so when they weighed me, I already weighed 101, and I was like, oh, I've already gained some weight. But now that I'm 12 weeks pregnant, that's actually stayed the same. I have fluctuated, but every time I go to the doctor, I weigh 101. But the first thing they did was weigh me and take my blood pressure like all doctors do. And then I had an ultrasound, and actually my boyfriend went to this appointment because this was the one where they're confirming it, and we got to hear the heartbeat. And so we did I think it's called a transvaginal ultrasound. So they went in me for that one. And we got to see the baby, which does not look like a baby. Actually, pause. Let me get a picture. Okay, I got the pictures. This is what, if you can see it, oh, is it focusing? That's what it looked like at 6 weeks. So nothing, actually, wrong one. I'll show you that one later. This is what it looks like at 6 weeks. That's upside down. Goodness, Carly, get it together. All right, that's what it looked like at 6 weeks. And we did get to hear the heartbeat. The heartbeat was 98. And so, I mean, that's pretty low, but that's common for 6 weeks. And they predicted at that point that I was exactly 6 weeks. So maybe I was wrong when I told you I thought I went at 5 weeks. Oh no, I'm right. I'll tell you why I'm right. But at that point they predicted me at 6 weeks and that my due date was October 9th. But after talking to the doctor, she told me that to keep on my OB schedule, I needed to come back in 2 weeks because I usually see people or patients, OB patients, at 8 weeks, then 12 weeks, and then going on from there, how the schedule works. So that kind of worried me. I was like, oh no, so are you telling me that my baby's not okay and I need to like come back for another confirmation? But she's like, no, that's just normal. After I did the ultrasound, I went and met with a nurse and we kind of went over like family history and things like that. And she asked me questions about like, of course, like, do I drink alcohol? Do I smoke? Have I taken any medication? Anything like that. All those kind of questions that you always get asked at the beginning of appointments when you're a new patient. And then she also asked if I had ever been to or recently been to Miami or out of the country. And that I was kind of like, why are you asking that? And so right now Zika is an issue, and my doctor's office stresses that that's an issue. Like every hallway you go down, it's like Zika virus. And that's where, I don't know much about it, but that's like the virus that mosquitoes carry. And if it bites you, if a mosquito infected with Zika bites you, then your child could be infected by it and it causes birth defects. So I was like, no, I haven't been to Miami, but I plan to go to the Bahamas. My boyfriend works for Sherwin-Williams and he won a trip to the Bahamas. And so we had planned going there in April, and she's like, well, once you talk to the doctor, she's probably going to tell you can't go. Well, after talking to the nurse, we went to meet a doctor, and she was like, yeah, I'm not going to allow you to go. And if your boyfriend goes, when you come back, if y'all are, this is TMI, but if y'all come back and y'all are sexually active, he has to wear a condom. Like, it's that extreme. But I have been around other pregnant women, and I don't think their doctors take it that seriously. But me being a super anxious person, I just kind of listened. And as much as I hate that I can't go to the Bahamas, I would have probably been worried every time I got bitten by a mosquito that I was giving my child Zika. So I decided, yes, I'm going to listen and I'm not going to go, which honestly, I might not have been able to do very much anyway. Like I don't do well on boats. I get really sick, and I could have gone like down the slide at Atlantis because that's where he's staying. Like things like that I wouldn't have been able to do, so I opted not to go. So that was week 6. Week 7 was when I had brown discharge start. Okay, I'm gonna get TMI again because that's nasty, I know, but it scared me. So I feel like brown is super close to the color of blood. And so that made me nervous, and I, of course, was the mother who called an OB, or called the OB educator and was like, am I okay? Am I having a miscarriage? And she just told me to kind of monitor it. And it was only like when I wiped. Like it wasn't like in my underwear or in my pants, or it was just a little bit when I wiped. And I mean, it was literally me like inspecting it going, oh, that looks brown, but it was nothing bad. And then this is also the week that I decided to tell my best friend. And the only reason I started telling them telling one is because I was about to go to another friend's engagement party, which I have like a group of 9 extremely close girlfriends. We're in a group message together, and when something happens to one, we all celebrate. So one of those friends was having an engagement party, and I told my best friend, who was going to be at that party with all my other friends, that I was pregnant, because I was like, we're going to go to this party and everyone's going to be drinking and looking at me, and I'm exhausted, and I just need to tell someone. And another reason, well, I'll get into that later actually, why I didn't want to tell everyone at one time. And so also I needed to tell her, because she is probably she's kind of like the mediator of our group. So everyone is like her best friend, and like she's like, I feel like the leader of the group. So I felt like she's going to be the one to help me tell the rest of them. And so I told her first. Then we went to the engagement party, and everyone was over here taking shots for the friend getting engaged, and celebrating. And I'm like trying to sneak off to the side and not look super obvious that I'm not having a fun time with everyone else. We're all young, so I mean, we do have a good time. But I was trying my best not to look like I was obviously pregnant or trying to be a party pooper, because I am. My nickname has always been like Mama Carl's. So I've always been the mother of the group and the one who's like, I'll drive, like y'all don't drink too much, things like that. So I didn't want to look like the party pooper and everyone gave me a hard time. But there was a reason why I wasn't drinking. And so that's kind of when I told them. Then I wanted to tell the host of the party, the girl who was engaged, because I'm also super close with her, and I wanted to tell her as well, but I didn't want to tell her that night that I was pregnant, because I felt like that would have stole her shine a little bit. So I ended up telling her, I think either her party was on a Saturday, so I feel like I either told her on that Sunday or that Monday. I think I told her Monday, and I just told her through a text message. No, I did call her. I ended up calling her. It was a Monday because I was at work. So I told both of them through a phone call. Neither of them live close by. They were both at the party in our hometown, but neither of them physically live close by now. One lives in Georgia, and I'm from South Carolina, like upstate, and she lives like lower in a state. So I told them both over the phone. And then I asked them their opinion on telling the rest of the girls. And so at that time I was 7 weeks, but the next week I had a doctor's appointment, so I just told them both. I was like, keep it a secret, and I'll tell the rest of the girls week 8 after my doctor's appointment, and they confirm everything's okay. So week 8 I went to the OB again, and that morning I woke up. I had enough brown discharge. I hope this doesn't disgust y'all, but I feel like it's something y'all need to know in case it happens to you. I had enough to fill up the bottom of my pajamas. And so that really worried me, but luckily I was going to the doctor that morning. So I woke up and went, and I discussed that. They took my blood pressure and weight again, and I told the OB nurse then, I showed her took a picture of my pajama pants, and she's like, oh goodness, honey, that's a lot, but it's still brown. But she just told me to be optimistic, and I knew that brown can turn into red and then turn into a miscarriage, but I hadn't had any cramping or anything. And so she's like, just be optimistic when you go into your ultrasound. Well, I went to my ultrasound, and the baby, well, this is what it looked like. I showed y'all that earlier because I thought that was 6 weeks, but this was the baby at 8 weeks, and they found the heartbeat. It was, I think, 166. And so she was like, the ultrasound tech told me I shouldn't worry now. Like, the baby grew at the rate it should have grown, and the heart rate was great and all that. And I talked to the doctor, and she said the same thing. She was like, honestly, you are fine. Brown discharge is common. Like, anything could, it's just old blood, so anything could have caused that. Like, sometimes intercourse caused that, which we didn't have we weren't having that at that point, so that wasn't what caused it for us, but anything could cause it. I work with kids, so I'm constantly picking them up, and I work with kids from 0 to 6 years old, so some of them are big, and I'm tiny, so she's like, maybe you just need to stop picking up kids that are on the bigger side, things like that, because any kind of thing that puts stress on your lower half could cause your cervix to move, and all those vessels in there to, I don't know if pop is the right word, but that's just kind of how she explained it to me. Brown blood is old blood, so she told me to not worry about it. So then, and also at the ultrasound, they moved my due date. So I went from being October 9th to October 10th, and she told me that's the date they'll stick with. And there is a 4-day margin of error, but she said that's the date they'll stick with for the rest of my pregnancy is October 10th. Let's see. From that point on, the symptoms were pretty much the same. but my appetite came back. At that point, everything tasted great. Everything looked great. I wanted to eat double of it. I ate it super fast. I wanted to eat every moment I was awake. And that, let's see what else happened. My teeth were still sensitive. I still had acne. I was super moody at this point and still pretty tired, but I feel like I was better. I was getting like more of my energy back. And I now know where pain in the butt, that like figure of speech comes from, because I guess kids give you a pain in the butt, because I started getting like, I think it's kind of like sciatica maybe is the word I'm looking for, but like a pain on each side of my tailbone. So not at the same time, but either I had it on the left or the right. And I think it's because I work, I'm gonna probably go over this in a different video, like an about me, but I work with kids and I sit down a lot because I do like one-on-one play therapy. So I think it's every day I sit for an hour at a time, and then I get up and sit in my car, and then I go sit for an hour at a time, and then I come home and I lay down. So I think that like when I start laying down, it's just like my body is not used to that. So I kind of started getting that pain, and it was so bad. I mean, I still have that pain. And let's see, I'm still looking at my phone for the symptoms I have wrote down. What else did I do? I ended up telling the rest of my friends, and the way I did that is this is the week I started like my bump date pictures. So I have a board that I have like each week I change, like, so at this point I was 8 weeks, so I put like 8 weeks in my due date, and then underneath I changed that weekly, and I kind of put on there, I think I put on there like my symptoms possibly. I don't remember what I had put on there. And then I added words to the picture, and I said, shh, it's a secret, but I couldn't wait to tell my aunts, or something like that. I think that's how I said it, and I sent that to them in a group message, and they had the most positive words to say. I don't know why I was so scared to tell them, but I was. But that's what happened in week 8. So now going on to week 9, we're almost there. Okay, so week 9 was probably the scarier week of my pregnancy. So week 9 was when my brown discharge increased so much to the point where I scheduled a reassurance. That's what she called me, or the doctor called it when I scheduled it, a reassurance ultrasound. So it got to the point where like I could feel it. Oh, this is TMI. I could feel it like gushing out of me, and it was always at like random times of the day, and then I'd go to pee and see it there. So like one day I was getting gas, and I sat down while the gas tank was pumping, and I could like feel it, and it was on my way home. So I went home, and then it was like a full pair of underwear with brown discharge. So it was just a lot. So I ended up at 9 weeks, that was kind of the whole week of 9 weeks, was just a lot of brown discharge. And I ended up calling the OB educator. She's super sweet, and it's always the same one that I call, and I feel like she probably thinks I'm ridiculous. But I called her, and she was like, let's do a working appointment for a reassurance ultrasound. And so she worked me in, and I went, and I got to see, she did like a handheld ultrasound, so it was just like a Doppler over my tummy, and it had like a little video I could see, and everything was fine. And she's like, honestly, I really think that you just had to get all that old blood out, and you should be fine. And just decided to come out at one time, and you should be fine, which was very true. I'm at 12 weeks now, and I haven't had any more since the day I went to that doctor's appointment. So, but that really scared me because it was just so much. And at that moment too, week 9, I had 0 symptoms. Like I was energized, my face started to clear up, like my pants fit again, like all of that kind of happened. And the way the OB nurse explained that to me was that at this point your placenta is starting to take over, so your hormone levels kind of go back to somewhat normal. So she's like, no, that's honestly a good thing that some of your symptoms went away. But oh, and also week 9, the bump and I and the boyfriend went to the Luke Bryan concert. So that was pretty fun, but that was so hard to enjoy. Like I could not enjoy the concert because we stood up the whole time, and everyone's like spilling beer on me, and it was late at night, and you know, just a bunch of drunk men being ridiculous, and I was so tired. And we had went out of town that weekend too. We had went to his hometown in Georgia for his nephew's first birthday, so it was just like we had done so much. And although I wasn't really tired from pregnancy anymore, I was just tired in general. We had ran a lot that weekend and had a lot of errands to do, and so it was really hard to enjoy the concert, and so that was sad. But you know, it's okay. things we sacrifice. All right, so week 10 is where we are now. So week 10, my family took a trip to Charleston. So me, my boyfriend, and the bump, which I didn't actually have a bump at that time, but me, my boyfriend, and the baby went to Charleston, and that was fun. I was cleared by my doctor to eat all the foods that I wanted to eat because I'm crazy psycho when it comes to like not eating, drinking, doing any things you can't do. Like, I feel guilty when I drink sweet tea because it has caffeine in it, you know, things like that. So all the things I ate were cleared. And, I mean, I was kind of symptom free that whole time. I think it's just because I was excited about getting out of town, so things were good. The only thing I did have was the morning before we left, or the morning that we left to go to Charleston, which, like I said, I'm from South Carolina, so Charleston is somewhere that is close by. I had the worst headache to the point where I had to take Tylenol, and that was the first time I took any kind of medication my whole pregnancy. So that was probably like my only symptom, was that my head hurt. Bad enough to take Tylenol. So then week 11, I had extreme round ligament pain by this point. Like, I mean, really bad. Like, when I laid down it hurt, when I sat up it hurt. Like, it just, and when I say round ligament pain, the way my OB nurse explains it is like, I think it's your uterus. Not good with anatomy, but it's kind of like a slingshot, and so it gets pulled like this, so you'll never have it on both sides at the same time. It's just like whenever it's being pulled, and I kind of had it like where abs would be, so like on the outside of where your abs would be carved out, and like kind of like underneath I have like what I call like an inner tube on my belly. So like this spot underneath your belly button where some women have that like one roll right there, which is where my one roll is, I kind of had it like right there. So, I mean, it didn't like frighten me, but I mean, it hurt. And let's see if I had anything else. Oh, my acne got like probably the worst it's been, like everywhere. Like, I mean, it stood out. I couldn't cover it with makeup, and I was still really moody, and I started to get tired again. And then now to week 12, I still had round ligament pain, and I actually went to the doctor for my 12-week appointment. So at the 12-week appointment, it was like it was the first OB appointment. So I had to have a pap smear done, a whole bunch of blood work, so like lab work, and I mean, seriously, it was like 7 tubes of blood they took from me. It might not have been full tubes. I can't look at that kind of stuff. And they used just a fetal monitor for this one, so I didn't have an ultrasound done, and they did the heart rate, or found the heart rate, and it was 148. And my doctor's office is kind of slow. There's a lot of people that are there, or a lot of patients that go there, so I feel like I have to wait a long time. So the OB nurse also let me do the handheld Doppler where I could see the baby, and we got to watch it move and stuff, and she told me that was great news that it was moving. And then, let's see, at this point, I also told everyone at work that I was pregnant. So that was like the last group of people I needed to tell before I told, like, before we announced it on social media. And actually, and I didn't even tell y'all, I told like my mom's side of the family, that's the family that I'm really close to, I told them at like 9 weeks. I told them right after that reassurance ultrasound. We met for lunch, and I told them. So I told them at 9 weeks, then I told my mom went with me there, and then my dad's family, they all all the kids are grown, and we don't do as much together with them anymore. So my dad just told like his mom over the phone, and then, you know, just kind of spread around from there. And then, let's see, what other family have I not talked about? I think that's it. Like, my mom kind of told the rest, and my dad told the rest. Like, I didn't really have to meet with them, thankfully, because I don't know why that's such a hard conversation for me to talk about. And let's see, getting back to week 12, though. Sorry, I kind of got off on a tangent. Oh, and they also went over my insurance benefits at that appointment, too, so that was great, because I really needed to know. Like, I'm a planner, and I wanted to know how much this was going to cost. They only went over the global fee for the OB, so not the hospital. She told me I'll find out about the hospitals, like the payment method and cost and all that, like around month 6. But for right now, she told me the global, and how mine works is I pay like a global amount for the OB visits by 6 months pregnant. And then, let's see, I kind of wanted to hit on like how my channel is going to go from here on out and like upcoming videos. I'm planning on doing like a get to know me video, because that's one thing that when I watch other YouTubers videos, I'm like, I don't really know like how old they are, where they're from, or their background, or if, you know, things like that, where they work or if they worked. And I feel like that kind of is a lot, that kind of explains a lot of my personality. So I feel like I want y'all to know that when you're watching this. So I think I'm going to do like a get to know me video. And then I also want, we are going to find out the gender in 2 weeks. There's a place nearby that lets you know, or that can predict, I don't know what word I'm looking for. That's another thing. I feel like I have pregnancy brain. But can identify the gender at 14 weeks. So we're going to go there, and then we're having a party 2 days after we find out, which it'll be a surprise to my boyfriend and I. We aren't going to find out at the appointment. They're just going to put an envelope, and then we're going to have a party, a gender reveal party with our friends and family. And the theme is going to be pistols or pearls, because my boyfriend is obsessed with guns. He continues to buy them even when I tell him not to. And so that's kind of how the next few videos are going to go. So I'm going to do a get to know me, probably like my gender predictions, and then like a gender reveal vlog. I think I'm going to do it vlog style, so I'm going to vlog like the party and maybe the ultrasound if they let me, things like that. I don't really know if I'm going to keep to a schedule, but I'm going to try. But I haven't really decided that schedule yet until I get to like uploading a few more. And I'm probably going to do like a monthly update for my second trimester. But I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'm going to add in a clip of the bump as well for the 12-week bump. And this is kind of, it's not really, it depends on the time of day and if I just ate or something. But really, some days I feel like this week, some days I feel like I'm huge and like, goodness, I'm just 12 weeks and I have this huge bump. And then some days I'm like, I just look kind of bloated. But I hope you enjoyed this video, like I said, and give it a thumbs up. And now let's see the bump. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and if you like it, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and I will see you in my next video. Thanks, and bye!